Keepers of the Cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here, and joining me just like almost every single Thursday, we got my good buddy Digger Jim. Jim, what is going on with you tonight, sir?
Man, listen, guys, we got to keep this to a reasonable time because I do have to go to work tomorrow. I had to let one of my people take a vacation day and I have to cover for him. So 5 a.m. comes early, people.
All right, so that means we're gonna have to let Jim have less tangents. So he's got to police himself, is what he's saying.
No hissy fits. I mean, it's Valiant, it's Jason. I'm not gonna have any hissy fits.
And of course, our guest tonight, he's been on a few times. Oh, always a gentleman. And just one of the most knowledgeable people, in my opinion, in our community. We have none other than Jason, Southern Comic Geek himself. Jason, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. We're going to keep this kind of casual, kind of laid back. But I will say, as I did before we got started, that I am dressed up more tonight for this show than what I normally am for my own. Spidey's powder tumblers right here. That picture is actually taken. I think Mark actually has one of these too.
Yeah, he does.
So. But yeah, I got a few Spidey's tumblers myself.
This is me covered in all my Turoks at the time, and so that's where the picture came from. So, as many Turoks as Mark tries to get, I just want him to know he will always be
second place.
He's just looking at my Turok.
All right. Well, Mark will have to say challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Let's give so real quick, Jason, who are you? Where can people find you on the YouTubes and IGs? And what is your channel mainly about?
My channel is as eclectic as my collecting is. It's all over the place. These days, it's more original art than it is comics, but I do still get my weekly pulls every week. So my channel videos drop ever so randomly, like I say, and Southern Comic Geek on any platform that I'm on. It's Southern Comic Geek, either one word or 3 words, depending on the platform. So Instagram, YouTube are the 2 main ones. And there you go.
All right, nice. And for anyone that is seeing Jason for the first time, his links are in the description of the video. So if you just go to that little description, you can click on his 2 links and follow him and sub him there. All right, so got a few people in. We're going to say hi to one of my all-time favorite people, Jerry the Jitterbug. Good evening, sir. One of the best supporters in our community, Ruby G, Calm, Cool, Collected. Good evening, Ruben, nice to see you, sir. Mr. Steve White, my other host with the most. Good evening, Steve. Great to see you, buddy. We have Rich from Comic Cat Collectibles. Great to see you, Rich. Thank you for joining us tonight. The Jackson Roy Kurt Valiantly walks in. So a few greats in the chat already. Some people saying hi to each other. And as people are getting their notifications and popping in, I will give them a quick tip of the hat. But it's not about them or even about us. It's all about Jason and Valiant tonight. So I wanted to do a Valiant 1011 because it's a part of comic history, and it's a very important part to a lot of people, but it doesn't get a lot of focus. So I decided I wanted to do a Valiant-focused episode. I don't know anything about Valiant. I'm sure Jim knows a little bit, but not probably a little bit more than me, but that's about it. But I had to bring in the authority. And I don't think, in my opinion, anyone in our community knows more about Valiant than this man over here. So, Jason, take it over, sir. You can give a quick pep talk or start with your first item. It is up to you, sir.
So, Valiant at one time was either the 3rd or 4th largest comic company out there. Started by Jim Shooter and Steve Murkowski, who is probably better known for being the agent for bands like Aerosmith. And so that's why Aerosmith would make an appearance in Shadow Man and among other places. So they started off with Nintendo comics and some other stuff. If y'all remember a show called Land of the Lost.
Oh, yeah.
And so there were toys that came out. Those toys, the art on those boxes was done by Valiant. I didn't even know that. The great Bob Layton, who many people probably know from either his Valiant days or from Iron Man in particular. Demon in a Bottle is probably his most popular one, or Armor Wars. Actually told us that when me, Carl Choi, and Stingray were interviewing him. Bob now lives in South Korea, so he doesn't get over the States very much, but was willing to do and talk old times with us. And so, yeah, that was Valiant, but it was built on the premise of a story. And so probably much like some people were with Charlton and other smaller publishers, where they could get on the ground floor and like get into characters without having to go back to the archives with the Marvel universes and all the other back issues.
Right. It was accessible.
Right. It's very accessible. I mean, you're like on ground floor. So, it feels like you're a part of something. And being an avid reader my entire life, that appealed to me, even though that in the early days, Valiant had what many refer to as a house style. That was not intentional, as it was explained to me by multiple people that were there at that time. It was because they were broke and they didn't have nobody. And so that's why everybody's art looked like everybody else's, is because people like Don Perlin, probably better known for as one of the creators of Moon Knight, among other properties there at Marvel. But Don Perlin and Bob Layton would be trained, and Barry Windsor Smith, who I know is near and dear to Mr. Casual Guy's heart, for another property that he led off in Marvel. But so that they copied the new people that they were bringing in, like David Lapham and some of these other guys. They brought them in and trained them up, and that's why everything looked the same. Was because they were training all these new guys. But yeah, so it said that Valiant started with Nintendo. So I think that would be a good segue into our first piece for tonight. Now, there is do y'all remember the show Captain N, the Game Master?
I never saw it, but I know of it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so
okay.
Captain N, the Game Master. Okay.
Wow.
Now, I will forewarn you that the majority of my 1011 and is tonight got 1A and 2A and 3A. But yeah, so Captain N, the Game Master, for the premise of the cartoon was that he was playing his Nintendo with his little blaster, and him and his dog got sucked in to this world. You have the Power Glove, you have Simon from Castlevania, you have Kid Icarus, Mother Brain was the main bad antagonist. You had several other, Mega Man was one of the people. Right. Then at one time they shared it. They would do half the time with Mario and half the time with Captain N.
That looks brand new, that book. Holy cow, Jason.
So the early Valiants were licensed properties, Nintendo and Worldwide Wrestling Federation. So this is from Captain N, the Game Master #2, as him and Kid Icarus are being surrounded by the Eggplant Wizard. And so I told you that these are 1A and 1B because, as you might have guessed, I have the art page to that.
Nice.
God.
So these and you'll notice that a lot of the Valiants don't have these word bubbles drawn in. They actually have the word bubbles pasted on there, which leaves the glue that they used left a really bad cement stuff. But back in those days, this was throwaway product. Nobody thought about this once it scanned into be colored and sent off to
crazy.
Which leads to some of its collectability, and it's really one of the reasons why I've started leaning more into the original art, is because the internet kind of ruins things in a way. Right. Because some of the thrill of comic collecting is the thrill of the hunt, and when you can go on eBay and buy anything you basically want just about all the time, outside the rare, was it the Mexican Conan that's worth right, that's worth a whole bunch of money or something, stuff like that. But by and large, you can pretty much pick up anything you want on eBay. So, but yeah, this is from Captain N, the Game Master #2.
That is cool.
Yeah, and that is clean original art too. Like that looks like it was just archived and kept in great shape.
Yeah, so there's a guy named Sonic Dan on eBay, but Dan Moeller, who's been a lifelong Valiant fan. A lot of my collection at various points in time I've gotten from him. But yeah, I mean, he scooped all this stuff up back when it was little to nothing to be bought from. So
nice, just a few shekels, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's called right place, right time.
Right? Yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But all right. Next up, we got the infamous, depending on what Valiant collector you talk to, the Valiant Sneak Peek.
Ooh.
And what's infamous?
Once or twice. I think once was from you.
Yeah, well, okay. I couldn't remember if I brought this on last time. So for those of the Valiant Sneak Peek, notice the way they spell peek.
Oh yeah.
It's not from the Twin Peaks right here.
Right.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be a sneak peek into these characters, the Valiant characters. And so there are 100 of them. This was given out at San Diego Comic-Con back in 2007. This is number 52. After I bought it, I got Jay Lee, who's the artist on all these things, to sign it. So basically, this was a way, in short, none of the characters look like any iteration of the characters, but by doing so, they tied up the rights to the Valiant characters in court/litigation. So even after Dinesh originally bought the characters or the IP out of bankruptcy, they had to get all this settled before they could actually launch Valiant and what they refer to as VEI, or Valiant Entertainment.
I mean, Jay Lee and June Chung are just putting out incredible art right now. Their covers and just amazing.
Well, and Jay's cover art cover or art in general. Like if you think back to like the Marvel Comics Presents days,
right,
or his stuff he did for Namor. After John Byrne's run, I mean, it's vastly different today than what it was back then. Like it's got
such an elegant style to it.
Yeah, he's more in like a Frazetta phase now of his art. But yeah, so that is the infamous sneak peek.
That's cool. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, that thing's gorgeous.
All right. So last time, did I bring the Cheezosaurus Rex or the Adventure O's?
I don't remember either one. I didn't rewatch it because I've been working, so I don't remember. So you have to show both, I guess.
I couldn't remember if I chose the Cheezosaurus Rex, which comes with a fun story. So, like I mentioned with the toys and of course the Valiant, the WWF. Comics, they also did things like this, which was for Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. This is an activity little book, and most of the time these things would get colored on or thrown away after they didn't get ordered. Yes, so I saw Bob Layton earlier this year, and he had a fit when he saw this book. He said, "The most valuable Bob Layton book out there," and he said, this thing is more expensive, and he was telling me like prices. So obviously, it's been brought to his attention before, because it is not as, I mean, it might be in a 9.8 graded, and at the height of, comic FOMO, 2020, right. 2021, but it's still an expensive book. But there are, I think 3 or 4 of them on eBay. Yeah. So I bought one and got Bob to sign it earlier this year.
That's his signature?
Cool.
Yeah. as Bob
I
said.
want him to sign something for me so bad. I want some. To me, he draws Iron Man the best in the world. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Bob is one of those artists. I mean, he still got it. Because some of the artists you start seeing them start to fade a little bit as they get older, especially when they've lived the life that Bob's lived. And so he still got it. He's still pumping out those commissions. He's always doing these drink and draws overseas at various comic shops, like trying to train new people. And he'll get like a good artist. He'll send their work to Marvel for them and try to, help them get discovered. But he still does commissions. And I've got a Valiant commission that I got him to do of all the VH1 characters that's in there on the wall. So as to not just be a tease, I did mention this one too, Adventures of the O.
Oh, right.
I know where some of your brains went. Get it out of the gutter. Come on, guys. But yeah, so this is SpaghettiOs.
That's crazy.
Right.
And
it's crazy. It's the condition you have these in.
Yeah, they just threw those away for sure.
Yeah, and the hard one to find of these is the KFC one. Yeah. So there's one on eBay, and the guy wants like $600 or $700 for it. I just hadn't really.
And you think that would be the one that would be in the worst condition too, because you're getting KFC and a comic. Something's getting greased up. You know what I mean?
Something getting grease on it or something. Yeah.
Yeah, well, see, like this one particular, according to the seller, him and Steve Murkowski were buds or something, and he's like, "Hey, what are you gonna do with those? I'm gonna throw them away." Okay, here's some copies, and gave them to him. So, so he had the inside track, so to speak.
Right.
So yeah, so those kind of go together. Now we're back in this world of. Flashy variants. I feel like it's the 90s all over again. And every week you go to the comic shop, there's a new foil somewhere. Yeah, so Valiant really revolutionized the gimmick cover. And if you know, when Valiant was bought out of bankruptcy, Dinesh is the owner of Bad Idea. And so if you ever see Bad Idea doing all these gimmicks, like there's a reason why he knows all this. And so whether it's the stake or the invisible comic, all that kind of stuff, like it's marketing 101, right? So Valiant was the first chromium cover, which was Bloodshot #1, which is a Barry Windsor Smith cover. And that was the first chromium cover. They did not do I don't know that they did the first metal cover, but they've had metal covers since then. But I know that they did the first glass cover. And this is one of them. This is not the first one, but this is Fallen World #1. I got this one. Yeah, so this is Rye, who different iterations of the character you'll see tonight. Spoiler alert there. But because of the red and Rye's eyes and symbol right there, this one really pops. But yeah,
that's cool.
It's glass, so
that's crazy.
So you don't want to store these like you would normally store another comic, because you'll just get cry a lot, because these were 1 in 250s. So then you think about, okay, well, how many comic shops were ordering 250 copies of Fallen World #1? So you just don't know how many of them are out there.
There might be in a warehouse somewhere in a box.
So talking about that, it's almost as if like that's a great segue. That's a great segue.
I do what I can.
Like he does this all the time.
Yeah. Well, folks, we didn't talk about this before the show, but all right. So there's this little speculative magazine back in the day called
Wizard. Yep.
Okay. So in Wizards, they were normally in poly bags, and then they would have all these goodies in the middle, right? And so this is one that was done specifically, is called the beginning of the Valiant era. All right. So in this particular special of Wizard, there is a book called Secrets of the Valiant Universe. I was trying to get the little bookmarks to move so you can actually see it. But anyway, you see the comic right there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
In the comic.
So, and the cards and the bookmark. So now I have a copy of this that I've gotten signed multiple times, as you can see across the way there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times.
Wow.
9 different ones. So these are like previews in here. And so it's like 2-page previews of various comics that were coming out at the time. So you would get this, you got this with that Wizard, and you go, I might want to try out Bloodshot or Hardcore or any of the titles that they were releasing.
Right.
So I have the colors to the Bloodshot 2-page one in here as well. Although I did not bring that one tonight. Now you heard what Gary said, like these random boxes that you find in the middle of nowhere. So way back then, they were supposed to release a foil version of this right here. And it would have the Wizard Special Edition foil logo right there. So they were printed and never distributed until a few years ago, and they found out there was a box of them somewhere. And they promptly got given out to all these people, right? Well, with only 400 of them, you wonder, okay, how many of them survived being in a box that long, right?
Right.
You know, they weren't stuck together, had mildew or whatever on them. And so those, besides like the Valiant Sneak Peek, are some of the hardest Valiant books to find. And you might have guessed it, I happen to got one. And so this is the Wizard logo right
Very
there.
cool.
So I bought this from a Valiant collector raw, had it pressed and sent off.
And I am just surprised that somebody hasn't bought the rights to Wizard Magazine and restarted that now. I think now it's a little past its time to restart it. Like a couple years ago would have been ideal.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, you know, I don't know who owns the idea. I mean, I know that Fan Expo bought Wizard World out, so they bought the convention scene out. I think the Ace, Ace something that the owners of Wizard had, that kind of got sold. And so I'm not sure who had the Wizard beginning.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so not sure who has that, but you know, it's kind of like with the Overstreet. You know, they're neat to get and stuff, but by the time you get them, are they outdated?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was an avid Wizard reader. Every month I had it. I love all like the fan castings in them were fun, and of course it's fun if you find one now to look at what prices were back then for books, right?
Yeah.
Look and see, you know, what the prices were. Some of them you're like, you just shook your head. And to give you an example, you know, Wizard was one of the things that fueled companies like Valiant, like Image back in the day into this crazy FOMO. And so when I got back into collecting comics and started picking up some of these issues, I was thinking in my mind, just thinking back to those Wizard prices.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, going, well, they're probably even worth way more now. No, I can get them for way cheaper now. You know, if you're talking about the, you know, as far as the first iteration, the VH1, the early VH1 stuff like Unity, you'll hear people refer to Unity as the pinnacle of Valiant storytelling. Harbinger 1 is probably the most expensive book out of that, and that comes from the fact that that bindery was so bad that it would split a lot, and so it's just hard to find those in good condition. But other than that, the books are maybe Solar 1, 2, or 10 is the black cover. Those might have some value, but not a lot. So by and large, they're relatively a lot cheaper than what they were back in the early 90s. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right. So
that was a cool little one though, with the card and the and the Foil Wizard.
So let's talk about some Valiant fails here. So Valiant launched a movie, the worst, absolute worst time to ever launch a movie, the week that everything shuts down.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, I've seen some posts where in certain places, like for whatever reason, Bloodshot became like the super streamable movie all of a sudden. Like people are like, hey, let me go check that out. You know, maybe it's not as bad as what I heard, or certainly didn't see it at the time of the deal. All right. So Vin Diesel plays Bloodshot. And so Bob Layton, Valiant legend. Of course, you're going to get Bob Layton to draw a Valiant cover, right?
Right.
So he draws a cover with Vin Diesel, Bloodshot.
That's cool.
The only problem is Valiant does not have Vin Diesel's permission to use his likeness for said comic.
Oh, okay.
So you'll notice it says unused cover. So they had to go back to Bob had to go back to the drawing board and redraw it. Notice that instead of him being angled one way, he's angled a different way.
Right.
And then you notice his face is different.
No, he doesn't look anything like Vin Diesel.
Wow.
Yeah. So this one's signed by Bob Layton and Paul Mounts.
So now, was that expensive for you to get the unpublished copy, the unused copy? Is that a pricey one? Or?
No, it wasn't too terribly crazy. Spencer Beck, who's like the godfather of that original art reps, he reps Bob Layton, and so Spencer had it in a box and actually got Spencer to lower his price, which for those who dealt with Spencer before know how hard it is. You feel like you're kicking him in the nuts when you ask him for a price reduction. It's crazy.
Now, I have to ask you, because I didn't watch the movie because it starred Vin Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
How is it in your opinion as a Valiant?
Not a Vin Diesel. You're not a Vin Diesel fan. I'm
no,
taking it.
I'm.
Pitch Black? Are you kidding? I like Pitch Black.
I saw Pitch Black in the theater, and he was a part of the movie I couldn't stand. And then they did sequels like,
right.
"Are you afraid of the dark?" Shut all the stream. All I could think of was him saying, "Are you afraid of bad acting?" And all I could think of was, "Yes, I am, Vin Diesel."
Lee, come on! I love Pitch Black. I thought it was great.
It was
so this is where we have these 1A and 1Bs. So I got the hookup with Brian Wells. Sent me the special Louis LaRosa cover for the 4K. So this is this.
Oh, that is nice.
This is the special cover. They're not the normal print. So
right.
So, but to answer your question, I had one gripe about it. I felt like it was basically Bloodshot. The main gripe I had was that, two. Bloodshot did not turn white, his traditional white color, until right at the end.
Oh.
And Vin Diesel doesn't have hair. Now, it seems kind of hypocritical that I would diss on a guy with no hair. However, we're talking about Bloodshot, and Bloodshot has hair.
Right.
And so, I felt it probably would have looked a little ridiculous. It's kind of the same thing with The Rock and Black Adam, right? Black Adam has hair.
Right.
Rock don't. So,
right.
And so
I'd say that's a minor thing, though.
Well, yeah.
That just leads into what you call stunt casting, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I felt like other than that, those were minor things. Like as far as like fairly true to the character, it was fairly true to character. So,
but worth a watch, you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, don't expect it to be like in game or anything, but I mean, just go up there. It's a blast them, shoot them up type of a situation, and that's it.
Because I mean, to be fair, I do have a Vin Diesel movie I love, but he's only the voice in it, and that's the Iron Giant.
You didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy?
I did, but
Groot.
me,
I love Groot.
oh, I know, but his best role to me was the Iron Giant because that script is so good and it's so full of heart. And when he flies off at the end, it's just.
I know somewhere in this pile of stuff in this room, I have a photo cover.
Yes, the Bloodshot photo cover.
Yeah, came in something that I got, and it must have been a mystery box or something, and somebody wanted to get rid. I was like, what the heck? Oh, no, it was a freebie. When I bought something from somebody on eBay, they threw it in as a freebie. That's what it was.
Well, I think it was a free comic book day book, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I gave one to my buddy who was a Bloodshot fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is that one for free comic book day. There's also a version of it that looks like the movie poster that was given out at the movies. That one's a little collectible there too. What's up, Sleepy Reader?
Before we get to numbers, before we get to the next one.
Okay.
I have to ask you if they were going to make a movie now.
Okay.
What character do you want?
Am I trusting that they'll do it right?
Yeah, in a perfect world.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. In a perfect world, Exo Man of War.
Nice.
And that would be, which they refer to as Conan in a can, still trying to bring, Gary B over here. But if you think if you like Robert Venditti's writing, like he did a masterclass on Exo Man of War Volume 3. He did all the issues, 99% certain, all 50 or 50 issues in that series. And
Exo Man of War Barbarian.
There you go. So where he starts out in Exo 1, like in Robert's run, the guy that the spider aliens, end up taking out of time and all that kind of stuff, to where he ends up at the end. Like, this is a masterclass in how you develop a character. Right. And so, it was just like really good stuff. So if anybody is likes that, I would recommend that one as a read. And so if they were taking it from his premise, then I would go with it. Because I would also say Rye, but that would be a whole lot of CGI, which I'd really bigger fan of practical effects.
Right.
And so if they were talking about doing a Harbinger one, however, the Harbinger, which was supposed to be the next movie after Bloodshot, the Harbinger one was not even going to have Toyo Harada as the main. Or he was going to have as the main villain, but however, he wasn't going to be Asian, which I really didn't understand.
Right? Why would you change that? I always hear people talk about that's a favorite is Archer and Armstrong.
Sure. Yeah, if you like the buddy comedy stuff, then Archer and Armstrong, would certainly be a good pick.
Now, I do have the Turok animated movie they put out. 20 years ago.
Yeah, what'd you think about it?
It was fun.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's true because I've never read Turok, so I don't know how true it is to the character or anything,
Yeah. Well, Turok's a Gold Key character, and so he, him and his buddy fought the Honkers, and then when Valiant used him as one of the starting blocks or the one of the principal characters, he's thrown into the middle of Unity. Him and Andor, the Star Wars movie.
Andor, yeah.
But anyway, threw him off, and they separated at a time, and so he actually comes into our time and meets his grandson, and he kind of raises him. And so Mark actually came on our TLDR Valiant podcast and talked through the Turok run and talked about how they developed Turok out. And you'll stick around. spoiler, you will see some Barry Windsor Smith. You will see all of it. But going back to the movie idea, I would say Eternal Warrior would be a good one. But even if they were able to do it before Highlander, because then people are going to say, "Whoa, what's up, Thiago? You've already seen some art." Or if you haven't seen some of it, go back and rewind, but we'll be showing you some more. But yeah, but the Eternal Warrior gives off strong Highlander vibes. And so like, if you do it after they relaunch Highlander, then it seems like you're just copycatting, right?
Right.
So,
do you think they'd benefit from doing like an animated movie universe? Because a lot of these companies, they get so hung up with live action, they overlook having some animated movies.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, and I think that DC, that's one thing DC's done real well at, right? Is the animated properties.
Right. You could do your rye like that and it'd be great.
Exactly. Yeah. And, and I don't know money wise what it costs to animate one as opposed to doing a whole bunch of CGI with overpaid actors. But, that might be like a testing ground to see whether or not people are interested in, going to the box office.
Now, did you watch the Predator animated movie on Netflix?
The animated?
So good.
Oh no, it was on Hulu. I'm sorry, on Hulu. Yeah, they put a Predator animated movie out 4 months ago.
Yeah, it's so fantastic.
Good. I hadn't heard of that.
But at the end, they in the end credit scenes, it goes to all these people that are captured. The Predators are captured, and you saw Arnold Schwarzenegger's animated character. You saw Danny Glover's. How cool would it have been to see Exo Man of War from that crossover? That would have been great. But I mean, they could do stuff like that, and.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really good. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I was really impressed.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, Acclaim that bought Valiant and paid too much money for it and bought it at the wrong time, obviously, too. Acclaim had the right idea. They were just 20 years ahead of their time, right?
Right.
So they were building out an IP factory that they could then turn around to their video games, which was their big, deal. And so that's why they relaunched the universe, which is referred to as VH2, because they felt like.
Oh, that's what I meant. Magnus. Thank you.
Yeah.
Magnus. Yeah.
Talking about Magnus the Robot Fighter, one of the harder ones to get is the graphic novel, the Dave Dorman cover, with him and Predator and Magnus back to back. I got Dave to sign it at Heroes Con this year.
And what an underrated artist that dude is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He should be talked about more.
Oh, yeah. I love his Star Wars painting stuff.
His Dark Horse Presents Predator stuff is great. Mm-hmm. Predator and Alien stuff.
Well, and Lee Weeks does the interiors. So I got Lee Weeks to sign it. Jim Shooter was supposed to be at that show, who wrote it or co-plotted it. And unfortunately, he was already battling with cancer at that point. So he had to cancel the show and died shortly thereafter. But yeah, so that would have been cool. And there's also a Barry Windsor Smith, Magnus and Predator cover available, and a platinum one. That's a tougher one to find.
I think I have that one. It's just the letters aren't platinum, right?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so so I think the animated might be a good testing or proving ground. But the people that own it now, they're not. It's a Chinese company, and ever since Bloodshot lost the money, they haven't done anything with it. I mean, now Alien, which then went to Alien and IDW distributing this thing after the whole Diamond kerfuffle. That's like the blind leading the blind. IDW is hemorrhaging money too, but that's another story. You're here for 10-10-1 or whatever. Okay.
In whatever 2040,
right? And so talking about the gimmicks, there was this thing called the Valiant Validated Signature Series, or VVSS, and so some of them are fairly easy to come by, some of them not so much. The hardest ones to come by are like the Ivar the Time Walker #1, the Geomancer #1, or the Eternal Warrior. I think it's issue 27. But for the purposes of having something to go along with this story, I picked up the Bloodshot Zero, which is signed by Kevin Van Hook and Dick Giordano.
Oh, nice. Another great journeyman in comics, Dick Giordano.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah, so this is a wraparound cover, and by Joe Quesada, and so they would sign, like I said, some of them have as small as $500 print runs. This one was 2,500. So they come with these little things right here.
oh, that's cool.
And then
that's a neat little collectible in itself.
Yeah, and then they would have normally on most of the comics, they might not have done it on this chromium. It would be almost like how like those they would have that embossed seal.
Yeah.
Like, they would have that on the comic. So again, you would know it wasn't like
copy or something.
Here it is. Yes, I don't know if you can see that or not, but they actually put it on the first page in this book. Try to get the lighting right, but it's right here in this corner. Like you're a what they call it, where you verify somebody's witness.
Right.
Notary.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to think from it. Yeah. They put that little stamp on it and stuff.
Yeah, so the comics would have that. So that's another way that it was for them. But yeah, so this one had 2,500. And so this story tells the story of how the Eternal Warrior and Bloodshot met prior to him becoming Bloodshot. And it ends where Rise Zero, you write big money and counterfeit books. What did they know back then, right? It's funny to look at some of the print runs and stuff, or some of the stuff's like limited to only 10,000 copies. And you're like, man, there's comics that don't sell 10,000 copies now.
Right.
Right.
It's all in perspective. So the way this book ends is how Rise Zero starts and how Bloodshot 1 starts. Okay. So this scene is actually in Bloodshot 1. And so where he jumps in and shoots the bad guy and blasts his brains out. I talked to Kevin Van Hook to verify, because I didn't know if they just copied it. But this is that DPS here of this issue. So one of the things that differentiates and creates an additional collectible is that Valiant did not start off having color guides. So you'll see this with Marvel, where you'll have like a little copied piece of paper, and you'll have all these lines with these little codes on them, and those are color guides. And so then they would take those color guides and input what color they were going to do into the deal. This is actually blue line. They would copy the image of the art, they would copy it onto a special printer, and then a painter would paint these, and then this is what was scanned to make the comic page.
That's nuts.
So yeah, I mean, now in this day and age, people would go, "Oh, that's so inefficient," but it create.
But it looks amazing.
Yeah, so you can really tell it like on the edges, because you'll see how it bled over into the edges. Yeah. But it, other than that, you're like, my goodness, man, that's great. I mean, how they painstakingly. I
was gonna say, how long it took to do that though? That's crazy.
Do these watercolors. So Kevin confirmed for me that he did redraw this as opposed to just copying it from Bloodshot, but the images look very much the same.
Nice.
Interviewed Valiant's crazy here how much money they had back then. Nowadays the print runs are pathetic in comparison. For sure. All right.
You see a lot recently with trying to revive old properties, like that whole Nacelle universe, which is trying to revive properties like Biker Mice from Mars and yeah.
Well, and Valiant, of course, got Valiant. Here we go. Dynamite got a lot of the Warner Brothers properties with Thundercats and all the other which I've really been enjoying reading.
But they just got the best one that's never been a comic that will now be Thundar the Barbarian. One of my all-time favorites. I can't wait.
When's that comic coming out? Come on.
With Jason Aaron writing it.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
And the interiors look amazing. Now Valiant, not Valiant. Now you got me doing it. Now Dynamite just needs to put it out in a timely manner, unlike what they've done with the Fire and Ice books.
Oh well.
So
I mean,
are you
that's
getting the
all.
Rob Liefeld cover?
Is he doing a Thundar cover?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I'm probably going to get all the Thundar covers because it's Thundar.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. I'm ready for it to come out too.
I mean, like that's all I've got is Space Ghost, Herculoids, and then I pull one something off the. I didn't do the Silverhawks. I didn't do any of the. I didn't want to fall down the rabbit hole of, the Silverhawks or
Thundercats.
Thundercats. Thank you. So I'm just doing like 3 books. Just picking 3 books and except when they do these weird crossovers with Johnny Quest, I got to get that. That's just phenomenal. It's so fun. Come on. Yeah, I'm loving it. And they get some great covers.
I know Nick Barucci that owns Dynamite Comics, and he's been battling it with this Diamond fiasco.
Right.
Sure.
So like every time I have messaged him, I tell him, hey man, I've really been digging, your books lately. I mean, you think like if I would have thought 10 years ago that I'd be picking up Dynamite books and more Image books than I am Marvel, I wouldn't have thought it.
Right.
No, well, yeah, no. And I mean, it's like indies. I mean, look, I'm reading the indie I'm reading right now is Exquisite Corpses, just because I think it's phenomenal. I just think it's not that it's some like crazy original idea, but the way they're doing it and the way they're writing it, I enjoy it. You wouldn't have, if you'd told me that 10 years ago, I wouldn't even thought of it. I would have said, no, indie, come on, it's not Marvel, it's not DC, I'm not getting it.
And even that new Man Cave Phantom is great.
Yeah, I just can't. I got to expand the horizons.
All right, so now where are we? Are we on 8? 7?
I think. I got enough stuff over here to do it. I counted earlier. So, all right. So
we're trying to keep Jim on track because he's got a time.
Well, Jim's the one getting me on track.
I know. I'm not following my own thing here. Go ahead.
All right. So if you can't get the first appearance, you go for the second appearance, right?
Right.
And so Turok shows up and Magnus for the first time in Valiant Comics, and then a few issues later, Magnus and the rest of the Valiant universe are thrown into the Unity crossover. And so obviously Turok's in the middle of it. And Turok at the beginning thinks that Mother God is the good guy. Mentioned Archer and Armstrong earlier. Nobody likes Armstrong because he's just, a drunk, for all intents and purposes. But Archer Archer's kind of the conscience of the gang. And for whatever he sees something good in him, and that kind of endears Armstrong to him, and so they make the pair. So in Archer and Armstrong 2, Turok makes his second appearance. Now the cover of Archer and Armstrong 2 is done by legend Walter Simonson. The interiors are done by another legend, one Barry Windsor Smith. Nice. And so here's the comic.
Ooh, now the art.
Here's the art.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Look at those pencils.
So it's widely known in the art community that Barry Windsor Smith is kind of quirky, which a lot of artists are.
Right.
So for those pages that he held on to longer, he looked back at them and he didn't like how they were inked. So he went back in what he calls enhanced ink them. So if you get a page, they're normally marked as such. But if you ever get a page and you can tell how thick the inks are, they're thicker than usual, that's because he enhanced inked them.
Oh, and they're worth more, I would think, because he touched them again.
I guess, it's just a well-known thing. I mean, actually, and so what he also did was he went back, because I mentioned this earlier about the staining from the glue stains from the word bubbles.
Right.
He went back and re-lettered them. So that's why on this one, you see how they look so clean and stuff.
Yeah.
He went back and re-lettered them. Because I guess he's just a perfectionist. Yeah.
Right.
Well, he probably thought it looked weird. He's probably like, this doesn't make any sense. They're not saying anything.
You got Damien drooling over that page.
Yeah, look at
that. It's a beautiful page.
Yeah, so Turok is fat shaming Armstrong. He says, I think the one they called Archer, the fat one can go and die. Fat? That wasn't polite. And so he shoots him, shoots out the gun, and then shoots him in the little makeshift armor he had gave himself. So there is that. All right, so let's talk about Turok, since we're on the Turok bandwagon here.
Right.
So Turok would come into the modern day, and he would appear in X-O Man-O-War 14 and 15. Fantastic, art by Bart Sears. That was the first time that Bart Sears had drawn him. Those are like that cover of issue 14 where the dinosaur's in the background and he's sitting there with the blasters and Turok the bow all cocked. This is like dream wish list. I know where the cover is, but this is like wish list stuff, right? To get a hold of. So again, if you can't get it, you got to get some kind of replacement for it. So Dynamite would later end up getting the the Gold Key properties, both Solar, Magnus, and Turok, and they would relaunch the title multiple times. So let's talk about one, and we'll back into the other. So Turok number 1. This is Bart Sears.
Right.
This take Turok for 5 minutes and then say, let's talk Turok. Yeah, so this is Bart Sears. So that started off with a little scribble, what they call a prelim, that they would send to, in this case, Dynamite, and say, hey, this is what I was thinking. Is this okay? And, they would kind of go from there. And then this is the original for that.
Wow.
Now, you notice something different in the background right here. That's because here's that one. So they digitally put it into the background there like it is in the comic.
Man, if that's not a Conan clone picture, nothing is.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Bart Sears is just did or I don't know if it's come out yet, with the Conan cover, right?
Oh, yeah. And I think my favorite thing that Bart Sears did, I actually loved his Spider-Woman run with Matt Franklin. I thought was amazing.
He was talking about those pages like she had a different costume. Like
almost every issue.
Yeah. So I bought this originally from an art dealer. And then later on, I noticed that Bart had this. And so I said, well, I want to reunite them together. And then, so I never knew where the dinosaur was at. So after I bought what I'm fixing to show you next, I mentioned it to Bart, and he says, I got that laying around the house somewhere. I'll send it to you. So he just sent it to me. He didn't charge me for it again.
Wow, how nice.
That's cool. I've got that laying around the house somewhere.
Right. Yeah. And so they also, when you relaunch a title that sold as many copies as what Turok 1 did for Valiant, what do you got to do with issue 1? You got to try to, recreate. You don't want to recreate the wheel. You want to get lightning to strike twice. Right. Not going to do a chromium cover, but what would be the next best thing? Get the OG to do an homage to his old cover, right? So that's what they did. He did an homage to his cover of that story. And earlier this year, rather, back in January, I bought it.
Wow.
Now, ironically, this is I have 2 Turok #1 covers. And so ironically, the original Turok one sold at the same show this one did. For quite a bit more, I will say, than what it's on for. But yeah, so
amazing stuff. Holy cow.
Man.
So yep, that is that Turok right there. And of course, we got to keep it with the comics too, right?
Right.
For those of you who never seen a Turok, and you don't have one in your collection, what are you doing with your life?
You really, I don't feel like you don't have a real collection then.
I was going to say, of all the people that would have Turoks, I would expect Jason to have a signed one.
I've got multiple signed. I've got a couple of the Valiant Validated Signature Series.
Yep.
A couple of the gold ones and a bunch of the regular ones. And
I was going to say, I would expect you to have that covered in all the bases.
Yeah, this is the only slap one I have. I think there's a double entendre there.
Yeah, I think so.
There's always some innuendo with Bub.
Yeah, for sure. And so for those of you who don't know, so this is not the first chromium cover. Bloodshot 1 was, as I mentioned earlier. When they went to do this one, it was supposed to be the whole book. And they found out the last minute that they couldn't do it. The printer couldn't do it. So they had to back up and punt and do what they did last time. Except for on the periphery here, you see these little dinosaurs are embossed. Right. So these are actually drawings from an advertisement for Exo Manowar 14 and 15 that had previously ran, and they just reused them. And so they wouldn't do the full chromium wraparound issues to like Bloodshot 0, the Exo Manowar 0, Shadow Man #0, Psylords #1, Ninjak #1. Most of those being done by Joe Quesada, so definitely fun to look at.
Right.
Yeah, buy #1 every time. Exactly, man. You can't go wrong. And you're not going to be out of pocket a lot, to be honest. So
that's okay though.
Yeah. Well, again, it's going back to what I mentioned earlier about the hunt. I've gotten more excitement when I've pulled out some books out of like a dollar bin when I was trying to fill a run, when I did my Incredible Hulk run or my X-Men run. Than I did have when I seen one on the back wall.
Right. Because you found it. You dug. Yeah. And also, there's just something so satisfying about completing a run, but completing it by finding it.
Yep. Now, I think that if my math calculations are correct and the 1As and 1Bs don't count, I think we're on. I think we've done 10, and this is the 1, and then we'll have the 1 spec.
Yep, and you can do them in any order you want. So.
Okay, so let's go to Rye #7. This is the first Valiant book that I ever picked up, was Rye #7. This is actually chapter 15 of the Unity Saga, which tells you that I got in way too late. I have not. You want me to go get it, Bub? I'll show it to you.
Anyway, go ahead, Jason.
So this is a 9/8 copy signed by Walt Simonson, Jim Shooter, and Bob Layton, and then JJ or Janet Jackson. not to be confused with Michael Jackson's sister.
Right.
JJ was the colorist. But yeah, so 9/8 copy. This is part of 8 connecting covers that Walt Simonson did. According to Jim Shooter, because if you know anything about the Unity saga, there was a previous 8 comic collection connecting covers were done by Frank Miller. So when Jim needed somebody to come in after Frank and do 8 more, he said, Walt, I can't pay you, what Marvel's paying you. He said, well, how much you pay Frank Miller? And as long as you pay me a penny more, I can say I made more than Frank Miller. And so
what a great thing for Walt Simonson to do.
Oh, yours. I made more than you, Saga. That's funny.
And so Walt did these covers here. Okay,
That's
so
cool.
Rye 7 is where Rye dies. So at this point, this is the main Rye that was introduced in Magnus the Robot Fighter and the flip books. Had his own, got his own series all the way up into here. This is the only Rye we know. And so I pick up this book and I'm reading it. Again, I'm kind of behind the 8 ball, but this is showdown scene, which is kind of a comic trope, granted. Right. But it's a showdown scene, and Rye sends the group ahead to rescue Solar, Man of the Atom, who's been trapped by Mother God. Because they're like, okay, there's the only way we can beat Mother God is to have somebody just as powerful or more powerful than her. So we got to get Solar out of there. And so the hordes of metal robots are coming through there, and Rye sends them on ahead to fight alone. Then that's when Mother God shows up. And so he stabs her, and then she commences to fry him, burn him to a crisp right there, blood and all. Because if you think about the timing of this, the Comic Code Authority was still a thing, right? And so Valiant didn't do all that. And so they had some more risque stuff, more of adult themed stories. And so now, the artist, as seen here, is Joe St. Pierre. Okay. Now, you're going to ask, how in the world? Actually, I think I've got one left after this, but whatever. So this is kind of the one that means the most, because this was the first Valiant comic I read. Rye died. And so I wanted to add a page from this particular issue. So this is from Solar, Man of the Atom, number 13. This is that scene where Rye gets fried, okay? Now, if you're flipping through the book, you'll see this scene right here, but you won't in the Rye 7. But this is Solar 13. So what happened is, as they were, and they've done this, there's several pages that are like this. I own a Harbinger page over there that they only took the bottom panel from, and they scrapped the top panel, but I got the whole page. So what they did was they reused a lot of these scenes. So this is the same scene where he gets fried in Rye 7, but it's actually done by Don Perlin. Oh. So if you recall back to what I was saying about the house style, this is another reason why it was important to have the house style. So when you did stuff like that, it wasn't too off-putting.
Right.
Have you ever been reading a series and you really got used to the aesthetic of how it looked?
Yeah.
Right.
And then all of a sudden somebody new comes in, not to say that they're bad, but it's just like this total 180. And you're like, man, I just got whiplash. I don't even know if I can read this.
Right.
Story.
And it throws off the story for you too, guys. Yeah. It's just such a shock.
Oh yeah.
So this is one of the reasons why the house style was so important. So you don't even notice that it's not Joe St. Pierre on the Rye 7 page. So this is Don Perlin that done this page right here.
Yeah, so beautiful though.
Now these scenes down here are different in the Rye 7 book than what are in the Solar 13, but this is the same page. So a couple of things, as you can see, this is kind of Perlin's view of him crispy.
Right.
And so there's no word bubbles in Rye 7 or in Solar 13. But you notice these little paste ups.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, she was supposed to be saying something, and at some point, she scrapped it. And as fortune would have it, the word bubble stuck, so that we know that there was something that was supposed to be said. But for whatever reason, when it made it to the comics, she decided not to say it.
Huh.
I think the gravitas of Ra actually dying was enough.
Yeah, you don't want to undercut it.
Right.
So there are Joe St. Pierre pages that are out there of Ra 7 where he actually lived, because they were unsure whether or not they wanted to kill a character that they created
right
that early in their history. Because again, Shooter's like, hey, they're dead, they're done. I don't want to hear them coming back. We'll create another one.
Right.
So anyway. So that is the deal. Cool. And the comic. All right. We got
saying a lot without saying anything, Bobby says.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if you read the colors, or if you look at the colors in Ra 7 in particular, I mean, they're so vibrant, which was, again, going back to the way they did things with the watercolor. It allowed for that, really, if you remember Solar ever doing anything, he had this, prismatic power look. It was really intriguing. Now, going from Ra 7 into Ra 0. So unity happens, everything goes back together as best it can. And Ra 0 was meant, ironically, Dan Moeller owns it, but I think, there's art out there. Barry Windsor Smith did. If you remember the paper dolls where you could pin the paper clothes on?
Oh yeah.
There's a Mother God version where she's naked and you can pin those clothes on her.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Anyway. So going into Ra 0, which was supposed to be like kind of the Valiant Bible for the next umpteen dozen years, right? So it goes out into the future and says, okay, this far out in the future, this happens, this far in the future. So it's setting these milestones so the fans would kind of know what to expect or what could possibly happen. And so at the end of the book, after the story is told, you find out that it's actually being told from the future, and the Geomancer is leading the new Rye into being filled with the blood of heroes. So the blood of heroes are the nanites that Bloodshot has. So the original Rye is a copy that the AI version that was taken care of, which was called Mother in VH1 and Father in VEI for whatever reason. But the AI version that was taking care of Japan duplicated Bloodshot and then hid the blood of the heroes, because if you recall, one of Bloodshot's powers is to control machines. So that's the last thing AI wants to be able to do, right? So it hides the blood of heroes. Well, after Japan falls during Unity, they're like, we need a new Rai, but Rai's dead and Mother's gone, so she can't make a new Rai. So we got to go back and get the blood of heroes. And so that's the famous Rai 0, which is actually originally a Mike Zeck cover. This was a Punisher image that they added the sword for.
Wow.
Cool.
So there is a matte copy. This is what this is the matte copy. There is also a glossy copy that's a little more desirable. This one is signed by Bob and Jim. And the way that you tell the difference, for anybody that's interested to know, you see that you can see the first page of that comic.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's the glossy.
Oh, okay.
Notice you can't do that with this one.
Yeah.
Because if you just say glossy versus matte, they look exactly alike.
Right.
So that's the way you tell the difference. Like if you're wanting to buy a glossy version, if you're wanting to buy a glossy version, that's how you tell the difference, and don't get gypped by somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. But so when Alien relaunched Valiant, why, what you got to do, right? You got to go back to the well. So this is Rye, the Rye book. This is the first store exclusive that Alien did once they got the rights to Valiant. Okay. This is done by a small shop in Louisiana near Houdat, but actually not too far from me. Kyle Willis, who is a cover artist and has done, a bunch of different variant covers, put this cover up for sale.
Wow.
And he said half of the price is going to go to cancer. Now, I think everybody in here, I'm full of segues, by the way. Everybody in here has been touched by cancer.
Oh, yeah.
Cancer sucks. And so I've got a really good friend right now that's going through treatments. I have another good friend that just passed away Labor Day weekend. Comics Curing Cancer is going to be happening later this month. And if you're not familiar or you're not going to be taking part in that, think about taking part in that, whether or not you're donating or whether you're not just bidding and getting some good stuff to add to your collection. So keep C3 in mind. But my great-grandfather died of cancer. So when I bought the art, Kyle said, who do you want me to donate it in memory of? So I did it in the memory of my great-grandfather. So here's the art.
Wow.
So he actually did it on a canvas board.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
Signed it. And if you can tell, this right here, what do they call it?
It's texture. Yeah, I mean,
you see the
decoupage type thing.
Yeah. Now check those words out. Those are from the Rye comics.
Rye comic.
Oh, okay. That's
So
nuts.
it's legit, right?
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
Then he took this and scanned that, and that's where you got the book right there. But yeah, so this has a whole bunch of meaning because of the character, the OG version, and being able to get this and how he done it, put it together.
You got to put that up on the wall.
So the irony of it is the owner of the comic shop who commissioned Kyle to do that and launched it, I posted it. I said, man, I just got this. I actually showed this. I was in the back of my car because I was on a, was it called Slab Hub back then? Or maybe it was already the new name. Anyway, I was showing off my slabs on Rob's Fat Stacks, but I was at the comic shop or in the back of the car with my slabs so I could do both at the same time. Because I went down there and picked it up because Kyle was doing a signing in store. And so I posted it that I picked it up. And the owner of the shop, who's actually a Valiant fan, he reached out. He says, you got to see it before I did. How is this even possible?
Wow.
Because I had
commissioned
it to the shop. I got there when the shop opened.
Right.
Before he even got there.
You're right.
So yeah. But anyway, so I got Kyle to sign, a copy of it down here too. Yeah,
and that's great too. With just like the words from the comics, like it's a cool idea.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful.
yeah, for sure. Most of my art is bought from around stories that I like, right?
Yeah.
I have more interior pages than I do covers because one, you can get more for your buck, and then two, a lot of covers, especially nowadays, are just pinups.
Right.
They don't do like the old days where they told the story and you kind of got an idea of what was going to happen in the comic. They don't really do that no more. They got big scanners. I mean, I actually have a scanner on my phone that does it, so.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard to do that.
Yeah. Same thing with like DPSs and stuff like that. People do it all the time. but yeah, so forgot where I was going. Diego.
No, you have a lot of original art, but you don't have a lot of
cover.
Yeah,
so they don't really tell the story on the covers anymore. So I get the interior pages, but it also is because I'm a story collector, and so
Right.
you know, get them from the stories that I like to read.
Yeah, absolutely.
So so I think lastly we got a spec.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I can hear this.
I think I got it right. Okay.
Everybody be ready. We got to go out and buy this right away.
If you can find it.
If we can find it.
First, Clayton Crane, hide your wife. This is before you had to hide your wife around him.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, this is before he actually spelled his name the way he does now. Because back then he spelled it with 2 Ks.
Oh, okay.
So this is Shadow Man, number 16. This is a VH2, so this is after Acclaim had relaunched them. Now, the regular cover of this is his first cover art, first published cover art. The regular cover of this is not hard to find. This is the glow in the dark.
Oh, man.
So the glow in the dark one is a toughie to get, and especially tough to get in a decent grade because of the cover. Like once you get a crease in it, you're not going to get it out. So this one is actually, if you want to call it a pedigree, so ValiantComics.com is the name of the comic book, or a name given to the comic book collection of Greg Holland, who's been an avid Valiant fan since '92, advisor to Overstreet since '02, became the founder of ValiantComics.com fan website, and has been on the board and was a part of his collection for 13 years before I bought it from him on that same Valiant fan website.
Nice. So now you even have pedigree, Valiant.
Yeah, that's fair. So this is I thought about getting a newer slab, but since his little pedigree comes with a copy of that tab,
you don't want to change that,
right?
So
no, I wouldn't.
But yeah, so this is the glow in the dark. So and the reason why this is a spec is because one, Shadow Man would be a good like horror themed cartoon / movie idea for them to do. The other thing is a lot of times art and comics doesn't really spike in value until somebody dies. And a good way to die at a young age is to steal other men's wives. So I figure that he's going to die at a young age.
Oh my Lord, here we go.
And that's going to spike his art.
So go out there before he steals somebody else's wife, people.
Gotta get it now. I didn't know that was his first work, though. That's cool.
Yep. And so Jackson Roykirk says, break out the black light. Just keep it away from Gary.
Yeah.
Hey, leave the innuendo up to Bob Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Excellent.
That's fantastic, though. How cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I don't think I
say that Bloodshot cover, though, with the Rye cover with the colors and everything on it, that's just amazing. On the canvas, that's just incredible.
It's over there on the wall next to John Byrne and Greg Capullo. And so, yeah, I get to look at it all the time.
Nice. Oh, well, excellent show, Jason. That was absolutely amazing, dude. I mean, there was not one part of that wasn't interesting and fun and just informative. Just
as many of us are, me and a comic shop owner were talking about this yesterday. He said, man, we know so much about so little that, all this useless information,
right.
Rattling off stuff about artists that did this comic or where I bought my first comic and stuff. I can't remember what I did yesterday, but there you go.
Right. Yeah. But we know the history of our characters.
Right.
So that's the
It's
pushing
like,
up the glasses moment, right? That is not how it happened. Yes, I agree, Tiago. A lot of great information and amazing original art. I knew Jason would bring something great, and obviously you're the right pick for Valiant. Just no one talks about it better. And Jackson's giving you your props and saying, "Great, excellent show, Jason." So there you go.
Thanks, sir.
And but yeah, that was amazing. So thank you very much. That was great.
Well, thanks for having me on again. And when it's a more structured show, when I mean more structured, meaning like to one niche of the collection, you start reevaluating stuff, which is always fun, right? Because you look back at stuff and go, right. It makes you look back at your collection and go, okay, this is why I love this, or this is why I bought this, or whatever like that. So it's always fun to go be forced, kind of, instead of like, I've got a lot of portfolios of art over there or comics in the comic room. Sometimes they can start collecting dust. It's always fun to kind of go reevaluate that. So, these kind of shows are fun.
Well, that's okay, because we'll have to have you back for a 10-1-1 original art episode. We did one with Hoarder's Hide, Scott, which was great.
Oh yeah. Well, Scott's got a lot of good stuff. Matter of fact, talking about Scott, again, folks, we didn't plan this out. So Scott, this is not really original art. This is kind of this is not the watercolors like I showed you earlier. These are like photocopies of the finished product.
Mm-hmm.
Before they send it to, get printed off at the binder. And so these have already been painted on a separate board. Scott sent me this with something I won. I forget. And anyway, it kind of helped me go down this rabbit hole of collecting original art as opposed to just collecting comics. So yeah, he's got a lot of fun stuff. He's got a Barry Windsor Smith, Jim Lee. So there's only one comic that's ever happened in that crossover has ever happened in. So, and that's Deathmate Zero.
Yeah, he's a collector's collector, Scott.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. Maybe next time we can do like Incredible Hulk.
Ooh, sold.
But yeah, or even maybe Transformers. I might could do something with that because I got a lot of the new stuff and some of the old stuff too. But anyway, thanks for having me on this time. Anyway,
absolutely. So let's go around like we normally do. Jim, we'll start with you. What do you got coming up, sir?
I don't know. I'm hoping to find a place to hunt this weekend. I might actually have some time, but then again, it's my wife's birthday this weekend, so she may have me doing other things. I'm excited.
So selfish.
Meet up. I know. Gonna meet up at Baltimore Comic-Con in another week or so. I'll see Jason there. I'm gonna try to shoot some footage of that. Really, so there'll definitely be what did I buy? What did I get? I'll definitely do a video for that.
Nice. And next week coming up for me, we had Man Cave Comics on for the first time Tuesday.
Oh, man.
So we'll be having a lot of fun with that. And then Thursday, we have Magic Lasso Ryan and Anachronic Comics Joe on for an extra long 10-1-1 because they're going head-to-head with Justice League of America. They've both finished their run. They each finished their runs like probably within like a couple months of each other. So they're going head-to-head with Justice League of America covers.
Wow.
So we'll see a lot of Gold and Silver Age covers, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot of goodness. And Jason, we always end with our guest. What's coming up for you, sir? Anything?
Yeah, so I'll be doing a recap video, getting back from Baltimore, showing what I like, unless I get DMs from Diego about when the video is going to be dropping. I'm just joking. But yeah, so I'll be doing that. Also, we'll be coming back with some more Valiant TLDR on mine and Carl Choi's channels. Also, Newell Turner. I think Newell's last name is Turner. I never call him that. We always call him Stingray because that's what he collects. But yeah, so they will be talking Valiant with Valiant Collectors, and also reading through. Right now, we're still in VH1, so we haven't even got to the more modern stuff.
I got to make a note to have Bub on next Tuesday with us.
Hey, look, Bub better not distract from seeing some of that gold that Man Cave's going to undoubtedly bring out. You know,
right?
You start dropping Captain America ones and Mystic Sixes and everything else.
Well, I mean, if you watch any of his numerous episodes on Rob's show,
oh my god,
the guy just has an amazing collection.
Yeah, he does.
Like you just see Chris and Rob looking at everything he has, and it's amazing.
Yeah. It's always fun to see that stuff that you don't see all the time, and he's certainly got one of those collections.
Oh, absolutely.
And there we go. Rob said he will be on for the C3 event.
Nice.
There you go. You want to see some great collectibles? And guys, also go check out, before he's on next Tuesday on my show, go check out his previous episodes on, well, the old name and the new name. So only Slabs now. We won't say the other one because we don't want to get in any trouble.
Right.
Yeah, and Rob is saying he is the reason he has a nearly full run of Magnus Robot Fighter.
Yeah, I only need like 10 issues of the Gold Key.
To be honest, most expected behavior.
That's what we're worried about.
Yeah. Have the button to boot him off in case.
And he's saying, "Sorry, Jason, Gold Key."
No, see, I collect what I call Valiant cousins. So the three Valiant characters that were in Gold Key, I collect those Gold Key issues too. And then I don't quite have a full run of them yet. I've got all the first few issues, and then the stuff that come later, like the Defiant stuff where Jim Shooter started again, or even now Bad Idea. I collect that stuff. So.
Nice. All right. And with that, first of all, I'd like to thank my co-host, Jim. Thanks for being here, buddy. Always appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Of course, there's no show without a great guest. Jason, you always fill the role exquisitely. Thank you so much for coming on again. And we'll definitely have you back 4th, 5th time. We're always going to have you on one more time than we have Bub on. All right. You can walk Simonson him. Okay. And of course, thank you to the live audience we had tonight. We appreciate you guys. And for those of you catching us on the rewind, go sub about both these people. Their links are in the description below. And make sure you're checking out all the friends of the channel. Go check out Rob Fat Stacks of Comics. Go check out Bubs. Just some great stuff. And until next time, you guys know how we like to end this. We're going to say thank you so much for watching and keep it casual.